Happy Wednesday, everyone, and welcome to this week's Practice Perfect webinar. My name is David McCarthy. I'm a marketing manager here at RevenueWell, and I'll be the moderator today. Today's webinar is on how practices like yours can use in-house memberships to curb reliance on PPOs while still growing your practice. And we have a very special guest as our host, Jordan Comstock, the founder and CEO of BoomCloud. BoomCloud is a dental membership software that helps practices create, organize, and automate their programs. Jordan is also a co-host of the Navigating Dental Insurance podcast. He has more than 15 years of experience in the dental industry. One quick note about today's agenda. In a minute, I'll hand over the microphone to Jordan, and once he finishes, we'll have a quick Q&A, provided we have enough time. So feel free to submit any questions that you have, and we'll do our best to get to as many as possible. Without further ado, Jordan, take it away.
What is up, everybody? Thanks for that awesome introduction, David. It's always a good time when I work with RevenueWell. You guys have been always good friends of mine, so appreciate you guys bringing me on the Practice Perfect series today. So I'm super excited. I'm really passionate about this topic. I don't like PPOs, so you may hear a lot of me bashing a little bit of PPOs, but I'm sure everyone on this webinar will cheer and like what I say. So let's get started here. So let's see. There we go. So a little bit about me. I started my career in dentistry managing a dental lab. So that was about 15 years ago when I started managing the dental lab. And really, my entire family is in dentistry. It's kind of crazy. Dentistry is in our blood. Everyone in my family works at the dental lab or at a dental office, right? My mother is an office manager. My wife used to work in an office. All of her sisters. It's kind of crazy over here. So been in the industry for over 15 years. I'm also a co-host on the Navigating Dental Insurance podcast, which is saynotoppos.com. And then, like David said, I am the founder of BoomCloud. And then I just hate dental insurance. So today we're going to talk about how to reduce dependence on PPOs while creating a dental membership program. So we're going to be talking about the benefits of membership programs. Another thought, I'm also a writer for Dental Economics magazine, Dentistry IQ, and Dentistry Today. So I also, there's my GIF. I always forget that that's there. Also love podcasting. It's one of my passions. Hence, I own my own podcast. But I've been on all these podcasts talking about dental membership programs and how to cut reliance on PPOs. So if you are a podcast listener, go to saynotopppos.com and check us out. We've got a lot of good information to share with all of our listeners. So today I want to tell everybody that I am a victim of secondhand abuse by dental insurance companies. So my mother growing up worked at home. She worked at a dental office, right? And she was the insurance coordinator, I believe, growing up. And my bedroom was right next door to her office. So I would hear every conversation about dental insurance and the issues that she dealt with. And one day I remember coming home from school when I was a kid, and my mom just felt like you could just see it in her eyes, right? That she was just stressed out, and the tone of her voice, she was stressed out. And I asked her, I'm like, Mom, what's going on? And she looked at me and she's like, it's these damn insurance companies, right? So I think from a young age, I've realized that insurance brings a lot of issues in a practice. And I've always asked myself, there's got to be a better way for practices to work with patients and generate revenue for their practice. And a while back, while I was at the dental lab, we'd have a lot of clients at the dental lab vent to us about dental insurance. And I just kept asking myself, there's got to be a better way to help practices. So it often feels like this, I think, in the practice where I found this comic here, and I feel like insurance companies are right there in your business, right? Right there in your practices, in the way, Doc, can you see the problem? Yes, I'm afraid so. Those insurance companies are right in the middle of us, right? With all the red tape they bring. So that's kind of my mindset in our industry. And I really love helping practices reduce dependence on PPOs. So I am a big believer in freedom from the PPOs. Thanks, Mel. So all of you guys that are listening, I do have a Facebook group. It's called the Dental Membership Mastermind. We took out in-house, so just search for the Dental Membership Mastermind. You can go there. We talk, we share videos and educational tips on creating membership programs. So also wanted to do a disclaimer. I am an identical twin, and he is also in the dental industry. So if you think you see me at a dental event and I look at you weird or don't know what you're talking about, then it's probably my identical twin brother. So he works at the dental lab as well. This is my cute family here. I have a house full of girls, so my house is slowly turning pink with unicorns and dolls everywhere. So that's a little bit about me. So let's talk about now what you guys are going to be learning here with my course here. So we're going to be talking about membership basics, what a membership program is, the benefits, practice benefits, team benefits. I'm going to educate you guys on the growth mindset tool, on what a membership program, what it can do for your practice. We're gonna talk about how to create a membership program, right? Plan structure, plan benefits, average plan expenses, and other ideas there. And then we're going to talk about how to grow, because this is essential. If you truly want to reduce dependence on PPOs, you got to replace it with something, right? You can't just cut. I mean, I know there's been practices in the past that have just straight up cut all the PPOs out of their practice and kind of struggled, to build their practice from scratch again, right? I don't recommend doing that. I recommend having a strategic approach to it, and by creating a dental membership program, that's going to be your platform that you replace, the PPOs. So we're going to get started here. With the membership basics. So let's talk about a membership program. What is it? For those practices and attendees that don't know what it is, this is my definition. A membership program is an alternative to dental insurance managed by your practice, where patients pay an automated monthly or yearly fee to get access to benefits and discounts to your office, and your office only, right? There is no network of other, practices that are competing with you, right? So my example outside of the dental industry is Amazon Prime, right? I guarantee you most everyone listening is an Amazon Prime member, right? Where I'll share some awesome stats on that. But Amazon is the membership program that we should emulate, because it's the most successful membership program. It generates billions of dollars a year in annual predictable recurring revenue for Amazon. And it's just something that we want to emulate here in dentistry, because it works, right? And I personally have the data, across the nation that we've seen that it works. So I want everyone starting to have this mindset. We live in a subscription economy, right? Where, we've got Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime. There's car wash memberships now. There's hair salons that have memberships. We obviously have gyms. Car leases is another form of a membership, right? So we live in a membership economy. This is a good thing, where subscriptions are typically disrupting the traditional business models. And we're seeing this in dentistry. I believe that membership programs are in the next 5 to 10 years are going to take over the PPO market and help. And the benefit of that is it's all under your practice control, right? You don't have to rely on a third party. They don't dictate what the discounts. It's all done by you, the practice owner, or the team of the practice. And that's, in my opinion, that's a huge benefit, because the average PPO discount across the nation is approximately 43% discount off of your services, which is a steep discount if you ask me. So by creating a membership program, you've got the control. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the market, what we're seeing out there. So according to the U.S. Surgeon General, back in 2012, they reported that over 108 million Americans lacked dental insurance. That is a huge number of Americans that don't have dental insurance, right? Estimates today are approximately 50 to 60% of the U.S. citizens don't have dental insurance, right? And think of all the retirees, people that are retired or getting ready to go retire. They lose their dental benefits, right? And if they want to get any type of benefit. They pay an arm and a leg to the insurance companies and don't get barely anything, right? So keep that in mind that this market is growing. There's the PPO half of the market, right? And then there is the uninsured. And this is where your practice can focus on building, and reducing dependence on the PPOs. So let's talk about some of the patient benefits, right? So we all know that a patient, in order for them to see a dentist, they feel like that they need to have some type of benefit or insurance, right? This is just how our society works, right? They think that in order to go see a doctor or anybody really, that they have to have insurance. But this is not true. We know this as practitioners, and office managers. We know that it's not true that the patient has to have insurance. So by having a dental membership program, you're going with the benefit mindset that a patient has, right? You're using that benefit mindset to your advantage, right? Another benefit for patients is unlimited discounts, right? Insurance companies have caps and yearly maximums, and it's just a bunch of red tape. Well, if a patient needs 3 crowns and they're a member of your practice, they're more likely to get the discounts on the savings on the 3 crowns versus insurance is going to cap them. They're like, oh, we're not going to cover everything anymore. And then the patient says, well, I can't get anything, right? So we're getting rid of that benefit mindset and allowing unlimited discounts, right? Another benefit is no issues with dental insurance, right? Patients are sick and tired of working with insurance. It's confusing, it's complicated, they're full of red tape, right? So let's talk now about some of the practice benefits that we are seeing out there. So we're seeing that when practices create a membership program, it creates a loyalty system in their practice, right? Which is extremely important in any business, really, to have some type of loyalty system, right? And especially if you are going to reduce dependence on PPOs, you need to have some type of way or mechanism to retain patients, right? So loyalty system is probably one of the top benefits of creating a membership program. The second is generating predictable recurring revenue for your practice. Now, this is a revenue model that is really not very traditional in the dental industry. But if you think about it, it's one of the best business models there is. And I'll share some books that talk about the model of predictable recurring revenue. The third thing is smooths out feast and famine months. Everyone here, if you've been in dentistry for a while, you probably understand, the feast and famine months or the suck-tempers of the year, right? Every practice goes through it. When I was at the dental lab, when I managed it, it followed the trends of the feast and famine months of dentistry, where one month we would be hitting record-breaking revenue numbers, and the next month it would be a completely different story where we'd be like, what happened, right? So by creating a membership program, you smooth out feast and famine months with the recurring revenue, and then patients being motivated to get more treatment because of the membership. Number 4, increases the valuation of your business. When you generate predictable recurring revenue and have a solid loyalty system in your practice, the valuation for your practice increases, right? And I have a slide that we talk a little bit that in detail. Of course, practice benefits, reducing dependence on PPOs. That's mainly why we're all here, right? We want to learn how we can get reduced dependence on PPOs. And then reduces patient cancellations. If you think about it, when a patient pays a monthly or yearly fee to get access to benefits and discounts to your practice, they're less likely going to cancel because they got some skin in the game. They're a little bit more committed, right? So that's a huge benefit, right? Reducing patient cancellations. So team benefits, your team, the more you grow a dental membership program, the less they're going to work with PPOs, which reduces time spent working with PPOs, which is a huge problem, right? Working with a PPO, and a huge time suck. Improves cash flow, which stabilizes their job, right? Working with patients is more simplified, smooths out demand, and then reduces patient cancellations as well. So that's on the team side. So in order to create a membership program where you have a monthly or yearly fee that the patients pay, and to grow that, a lot of practices think they can create their own plans, and I'll show some examples of plans. they can create their own plans, and then automatically the patients are just going to sign up, right? This does take work and effort. It's good old-fashioned work and effort. In my opinion, there's no such thing as a shortcut. It's all hard work and good effort to grow. So to grow your membership program, I usually talk about the membership growth mindset with practices. This is how successful practices think. We have the benefit of seeing data from across the nation with practices that have successful membership programs. We've found what works and what doesn't work, right? So this is the mindset that you need to have when going into creating a dental membership program for your practice. Number one, you got to think of it as a patient attraction tool or a marketing tool. And when I mean marketing, that's internal and external marketing, right? Where you create, external direct mail campaigns or ads on Facebook or whatever it may be, to attract patients, especially the uninsured patients, to your practice, right? The second thing it does is on the left here of that triangle, patient retention tool, right? The loyalty program. The third thing is case acceptance tool. We have found some pretty interesting data when it comes to having a membership program. Patients typically spend more when they're members compared to non-members, and I do have some stats on that. And then the fourth thing is predictable recurring revenue, right? This is the mindset. Some practices will try to create membership programs, but they miss one of these four qualities of a successful membership program, right? They may miss using it as an attraction tool, or they may not think of it as a retention tool, or they may not use it to help with case acceptance, right? Or they may not generate predictable recurring revenue. If you're not doing one of those things, in my opinion, it's not going to be a successful membership program. So you can take a screenshot of this. This is just my definitions of each of those qualities of a successful membership program. So I want everybody to get this book. This is the book that actually inspired me to help practices create membership programs, but it's called The Automatic Customer: Creating a Subscription Business in Any Industry. It's by John Warlow, who also wrote Built to Sell, which is a very popular book in the startup and entrepreneurship world. John Warlow says that valuations for your business or practice can be between 24 times to 60 times the MRR, or monthly recurring revenue, right? So that's, again, a business benefit. When you can generate, let's say in this example, you generate $45,000 in monthly recurring revenue from your membership program. Well, that revenue stream, according to this formula, would be worth a little over $1 million to $2.7 million in value, right? So keep that in mind. Plus, if you're not wanting to sell your practice now, it's the more you can grow your membership program by the time you need to sell your practice and retire, you're going to have a valuable practice to offer to the next buyer, right? So let's talk about some stats here about membership programs. So this is Amazon stats here. So according to Market Star Research, the average Prime member spends about $1,224 annually, whereas the non-member spends $505 annually. So we learned through Amazon's example that members spend more, right? This is an amazing stat, if you ask me. So over the past few months, me and my team here at BoomCloud, we've decided that we wanted to do the same measurement, but do it specifically for dental practices, because I get this question all the time. Won't I lose money when I offer a dental membership program, especially from practices that are fee for service? They may think that they're going to lose money. But we looked at practices across the nation and found that non-members spent on average of $772.79 in a year's time, whereas a member spent $1,576.12 in a year's time. So that tells us that members spend between 104% to 240% more than non-members, right? Or 3.4 times more than non-members. So this is a wonderful thing. If you have a practice that has a large amount of uninsured patients, well, get them signed up on your membership program, because they're more likely going to spend 2 to 3.5 times more than being a non-member. right? So this is a stat that we actually got this stat from a good buddy of ours, Divergent Dental, which they do practice analytics. So we shared a lot of the same clients together, and we got permission to gather this data. So this to me is one of the reasons why you need to cut out PPOs, because PPO is the discount mindset, right? You're discounting, you're discounting, you're discounting. Now, membership programs do have discounts, right? Or savings is what we like to call them. But they're not 42, 50% type discounts, right? They're calculated strategic types of discounts or savings for the practice, for the patient, that is. So, but when a patient gets, paying a membership monthly or yearly fee, they're going to be more committed, more loyal, and spend more. And that's, the data never lies, right? This is the data that we've gathered across the nation. So let's go into more details here. Let's talk about how to create a membership program, what plans look like, and things like that. So this is an example plan. You can take a screenshot of this. This plan was my good friend Dr. Christopher Phelps, who wrote the book about how to create membership programs. This is straight from his book. But this is what we're seeing across the nation. We see practices charging between, $250 all the way up to $450 for a yearly plan, right? And in this example, you'll see that the single patient pays $299, dual family they get some discounts and things like that, and then each additional is $110. I think this is a good model. I personally like to see a little bit more simplistic models with this, usually like a single member and then any additional, and kind of cut out all this. But these are the traditional benefits that a patient gets when they sign up for a practice or a dental membership program, right? So they get a comprehensive exam, an annual exam, one emergency exam, 2 cleanings, 2 oral cancer screenings, fluoride, bite wings, 4 bite wings, that is, any individual x-rays needed throughout the year. We got 50% off 3D imaging scans, 15% off additional cleanings, dental sealants, and then you can read the rest there, and then 10% off crowns, things like that. This is way less than the average 42 or 43% discount that you're giving on a PPO, right? Some practices, if they're doing Invisalign, they'll give $1,000 off, or if they do whitening, they give some whitening benefits there for the patient as well. So this is pretty traditional. The cool thing about this is that your practice can customize it, right? You can do, if you want to give unlimited emergency exams, right? You can do that if you want, right? If you want to throw in other benefits that you're doing, maybe you're in an office that has some orthodontics built inside of it, right? Maybe you have an orthodoc. You can throw some discounts on and savings on getting braces as well, right? So really the sky's the limit when creating a dental membership program, because, well, it's all under your control and not a third party, right? So, and I do recommend offering both monthly and yearly memberships. Monthly memberships typically we've seen range from between $20 a month all the way up to $50 a month for like straight perio membership plans. So keep that in mind. And if you ask me, if you're going to ask me, hey, Jordan, what do you recommend, yearly or monthly? I always say offer both, but I'm always going to lean towards monthly, and here's why. Monthly membership programs are a lower barrier to entry, especially if you got a young family or even a big family. That yearly can add up quick, and they can easily say no to signing up for your membership program. And we know when they are on your membership program, they're going to be paying 2 to 3.5 times more than if they weren't. So getting them on a membership program is crucial. You may ask, well, what happens, Jordan, if they sign up the month and then they cancel? Well, monthly membership programs you should have a contract with the patient that says this is a 12-month plan, but you're paying for it monthly, right? You need to have the proper agreements. And when you do have a membership program, it is required that you have some form of agreement. Well, the agreement is called medical retainer agreement or a direct primary care agreement, which I'll talk about those hopefully in a little bit here. So that's what a traditional membership program looks like. Obviously, you can be creative. You can add, your touches to your own plan and and make it beneficial for your patients. So I always like doing this exercise because this shows you what you can do when you generate enough patients. Membership programs are a volume game. Like, you don't want to get just 30 patients and say, hey, we got an awesome membership program, right? Especially if you're trying to reduce dependence on PPOs. You want to be able to build a sustainable amount of predictable recurring revenue so that when you do start cutting PPOs, like, it's not a big deal, right? So imagine if you signed up 300 patients at $30 a month. That's $9,000 of predictable recurring revenue come in. Let's jump down to 1,000. We see practices hitting this all the time. This is totally doable, especially if you're using the growth mindset framework I shared earlier. 1,000 patients paying $30 a month. That's $30,000 a month of predictable recurring revenue. So that's just the membership fees. That's not including any of the treatment, right, plans that you're going to be offering these patients. And remember, membership patients spend 2 to 3.5 times more than non-membership patients. So you get a bump in revenue there as well, right, from the treatment plans. So I just love showing this because I'm a visual guy. I like to see, if I hit X amount of patients paying this amount a month, how much would that be, right? So totally doable from what we've seen across the nation. Again, it still takes hard work and effort. It's not just going to automatically happen, right? So mentioned this already. So biggest tip that I have for you guys here for creating your memberships, focus on signing patients up on autopay and automatically renewing them each year. Again, let's look at Amazon Prime, their membership program, right? Amazon doesn't have somebody call you and say every year and say, hey, Jordan, I know you're a member, but your renewal date's coming up, and we just wanted to make sure, like, can we collect your card information and run your card today and reactivate you for next year? They don't do that. It's an automated system. You get an email that says that, but says if you reach out if you want to cancel with our membership, you can go here. I would advise practices to do the same thing, use the same, emulate success, right? Let's emulate what's working in other industries. So this is probably one of my biggest tips when setting up a membership program, because too many people do it where there's no automation whatsoever. It's not a real system. It's the patient comes in, they pay the $300 a year, and then they come in next year, 6 months later, so there's some lapse of time, and then they sign it up again, right? Which is great. That's better than not doing it. But to be honest with you, having it be an actual subscription that automatically renews and collects each year, that's the goal. So another thing, too many practices get really, really excited about membership programs, right? And I don't blame them, because it is an exciting thing to do for your practice. I personally, this is one of my biggest passions. I'm kind of a geek when it comes to this. So, but keep your plan simple. There's practices out there that I've been on the phone with, and they say, okay, I got 9 plan ideas to offer my patients. And I'm like, whoa. You haven't even launched one. So let's launch one and see how it goes. And if you find holes or gaps in the market from your patient base, then address them, right? So I create 1 yearly plan, 1 monthly plan. If your plan is too complicated, it makes it challenging for the front office to enroll patients and to remember every single benefit in every single plan, right? So just keep it simple. That's really anything you do in any business. If you keep it simple, you're more likely to have success, right? So that's my other tip when structuring a plan for your patients. So plan expenses. This is a question I get all the time. So they say, hey, Jordan, how much does it cost the practice to deliver the services, right? And by that, we talk about we bundle up all the benefits and services that you're offering in the membership program, and then we get the average cost or the price, the expenses, right? So that's hourly time from assistants, supplies you may be using in some of the procedures that you're doing, like the exams and things like that. And we found that we actually looked at this data with Dr. Christopher Phelps. If any of those have listened to him he's been on a bunch of podcasts or read his book. We found that the average cost or expense, to a membership program is about $110 per patient per year, on average. This may vary; it may be less or more depending on your area and how much you're paying, your team. But this is what we kind of found on average. So if you charge, a membership program at $100 a year, you're probably not going to make any money. or you're going to break even or even lose money, right? So this is good to know when you're trying to figure out how much you should price, right? This is what we see on average the expenses. So you don't want to charge $100 a year, right? You want to charge, the 300, we've seen up to $450 for a yearly plan, right? So that's kind of my tip there for all you guys listening. So this is actually an example of how I would structure a plan if I owned a practice. This is the type of plans that work really well, right? Where they say, okay, the first member pays $299 a year, and again, this may vary depending on your demographic, but any additional member pays, $250. That way, it incentivizes the patient to sign up their family and get some discounts there as well, or save. Let's call it savings. Discount is never a good word if you ask me. It's savings. And then we do see like a one-time enrollment fee of anywhere from $10 to $99 has been the largest enrollment fee that I've seen across the nation, meaning that's a one-time fee that the patient pays when they sign up. And that's pretty cool. You can add an enrollment fee in there so that, for example, if you wanted to take a portion of that and pay it out as like a bonus to the team members that are helping you grow your membership program, you can do that. In fact, that's what I would do. If I had a membership program, I would put a $10 to $25 enrollment fee that the patient pays, but then you take that $25 or whatever, and use it as an incentive plan for your team to sign up more patients, right? Because that's awesome. Everyone likes getting $25 gift cards, right? I know I do. I know my wife does. She goes shopping all the time when she gets a couple of those. So let's talk about like managing in the practice management system. This is a question I get all the time as well. How do we manage this in our practice management system? Because practice management systems are typically not built. They're built to help you manage your schedule and insurance, really. And a membership program is not insurance. So what I recommend you do, we've got this free tutorial here. You can go to boomcloudapps.com, webinar for office managers, and basically what I'll simplify the video for you guys. Basically, you're going to add an insurance company to your like Dentrix or whatever you're using, and then you're going to label it Dr. Jordan's membership program. So when patients check in, that's the insurance plan. Like I'm saying that in quotes because you can't call dental membership programs insurance, but that's what it's emulating, really. So basically, when they come in, you enter in Dentrix, the insurance that they're a part of, and you say, oh, it's Dr. Jordan's membership program. So then to check the benefits and things like that patient receives from that. You don't have to verify anything other than that they're making their monthly or yearly payments to your practice. You don't have to do any of the hassles of insurance, right? So that's what I recommend when setting up your plan in your practice management system. So cool. Let's talk about a manual process, how to manage a membership program manually. So these are the tasks that a practice, a team, the office team has to do when creating and managing a membership program. So manually run every single payment, monthly or yearly. Keep track of starting and renewal dates. Keep track of patient agreements, which is very, very important because in order to have a membership program across the nation, you do have to have the medical retainer agreement or direct primary care agreement. Keep track of any state regulations. Keep track of monthly revenue, which if you were to ask me, if I were a practice owner, I own a business. I want to know the monthly recurring revenue coming in, right? So keep track of monthly recurring revenue from that, so you know exactly how much revenue is coming in specifically from the membership program. Keep track of yearly revenue. Keep track of active and inactive patients, right? So you don't accidentally give benefits to a patient that is not a member anymore, but they think they are. Keep track of declined cards or expired cards. Most practices have a goal to talk to X amount of patients each day and get them enrolled. So that's a key, in my opinion, to do. Manually enroll them through paper form. Keep track of how many enrollments each month, because if this is going to be a strategy to help reduce dependence on PPOs and help generate more revenue for the practice, you got to be tracking these things, right? And if I would do weekly stand-ups, meetings, huddles, and talk about these metrics, these goals you have to grow your membership program, right? Keeping track of how many enrollments each month is one of those, right? You can create Facebook ads, make sure you have flyers and brochures that you're giving out to patients. And when you give it out to patients, you want to talk about your membership program to every single patient, even if they have dental insurance, because you never know if that patient is not happy with their dental insurance and is just sick and tired of it, or maybe they're getting ready to switch jobs and that other job doesn't have dental insurance and they're freaking out, right? You never know. So I highly recommend talking to every single patient, uninsured and insured, about it. And then plus, you never know if an uninsured patient has a friend or family member that doesn't have dental insurance and never goes to the dentist because of that, right? But when they know, they say, "Whoa, Dr. So-and-so down the street, he's got a membership program. You don't need to have dental insurance. Just go to his office. They'll take care of you." That's a huge referral source for you in your practice, right? You also need to track all the stats, generate. In certain states, you do need to have a way to track reports like the revenue, the amount of active members. That's only in certain states. Same thing with in certain states, you have to have a dedicated person for questions that patients may have. Now, it says only do it in certain states, but in my opinion, these are best practices, to be honest with you, when managing it. So if you're going to manage a membership program manually, what we see, it typically costs daily, paying hourly for a team and or even salaries. Daily, it costs between $125 to $160, and monthly, $2,450 to $3,200 to have your team manually manage these things. And this is looking at hours and salaries depending on where you're located. So that's kind of what we found if you're going to go the manual route of managing a program. So let's talk about PCI compliance now. This is extremely important to know when having a membership program, because you are going to be charging cards monthly or yearly automatically. PCI is basically regulations or rules, kind of like HIPAA is for patient records. This is for financial records, right? The biggest problem I see out there is practices will create a membership program and they're charging cards, but they're putting card information on sticky notes, binders, and paper, even the file cabinet, or even they set up Google Docs, which is not very secure for financial, information. And then they manage it through there. This is a big no-no from our research. You do not want to do this. If you do have a current membership program and you're managing this way, I would make sure that you understand what PCI compliance is when it comes to charging credit cards. Also, when you do charge membership programs monthly or yearly automatically, you do need to make sure that in agreement it does say that, so you have the patient's consent. Very, very good best practices there, if you ask me. So let's talk about now some direct primary care laws. So keep in mind, I am not an attorney. But this is what I do every day. I research these things. Sometimes we talk to attorneys all the time about some of the regulations, and I would never let the regulations stress you out or make you not want to do a membership program, because regulations are just rules that guide you on what you can and cannot do in your state, right? Membership programs are not illegal. In fact, more and more states have what they call these direct primary care laws, because it's basically a law that helps bypass any insurance regulation from most states, right? So you can go to dpcare.org. That's a great resource. But basically, the definition is a physician, doctor, or dentist, charges a patient as little as $25, $70 per month, to get services. So this is a growing trend, not only in dentistry, but in the medical industry, in veterinarian industry, in the optometry industry, just really a lot of the healthcare industries. This is growing. So the lawmakers are making laws that are more clear. So the Department of Insurance doesn't regulate you, right? Which is a hassle, and thank goodness for direct primary care, because it's enabled practitioners to do this and to offer a competitive solution to the market of dental care and even healthcare in general, right? So yes, this next slide, DPC is legal, right? We're actually seeing more and more states talk about this and want to see more practices doing this because it's great for our economy. If you think about it, right? Insurance kind of dominates that realm of benefits and healthcare, right? So when as a practitioner who actually care about each and every patient versus some guy at an insurance company that has no clue who that patient is, in my opinion, it makes more sense to offer a membership program to patients and each practice take care than some giant organization that's taking everybody's money, denying claims and making it really difficult to work with. Like that's to me that lawmakers are seeing the benefit and the value of this. So it's really cool seeing this trend go. So a definition of DPC is in each state equals lower legal barriers to entry equals less certainty equals wider adoption of DPC. So that's one of the reasons why we need this law. I recommend also the resource dpcfrontier.com. You can see like states and everything there. I'm kind of a geek about dental membership programs, so I'm like constantly reading like statutes in each state about DPC, so that I can help educate. And I mean, I've had to educate even attorneys where to find out all this information because it is so specialized. And not too many attorneys work with this. So let's talk about legal agreements now. When you create your membership program, you need to have some sort of legal agreement. This is one of the regulations that is pretty common, pretty standard across every single state. They're either called medical retainer agreements or direct primary care agreements. Right, so you need to make sure you have some type of agreement with this. I do have templates that we use and give to a lot of our clients at Boom Cloud, but you need to have this, and it's a description, of your specific routines and services that you're offering your patients. Basically spelling out what the program is, not calling it dental insurance or health insurance. Right, you can make sure that that's clear in the agreement, and things like that. So make sure that if you have an existing membership program, having a medical retainer agreement or a direct primary care agreement is essential. Like you need to have that, right? And get that in ASAP. Plus, it's just good business practice, if you ask me. One of those best practices tips. All right, so let's speed through this because I know I'm kind of running out of time. Let's talk about how to grow. I'm more excited about growth. Setting up is fun, but growing is more important, if you ask me. So did a case study a while back with a good buddy of mine, Dr. Brady Frank. He writes a lot in Dental Economics magazine, well known in the DSO space. Within 3 months, Dr. Brady Frank had generated $100,000 a year in predictable recurring revenue in only 3 months' time. Right? That's crazy, right? So now he's at least in this case study. We captured him at 1,000 when he hit 1,000 patients. So this is what the stats look like, with some of the plans that he was doing, generating a little over $20,000 a month in predictable recurring revenue. With the active members, 1,000 new members this month. He had 4 when we took the snapshot. But this shows you that it can be done. Reaching 1,000 patients can be done. It takes work, like I keep saying, but it can be done, and it should be done because PPOs are slowly reducing what they pay out to practices, right? And they're making it difficult, denying claims. You guys know I'm preaching to the choir here. I know it. So by creating a membership program, you can see this is an actual practice with actual data, right? Let's look at Brady's plans. So Brady, super simple plan. So if you go up top here, this the list of what he's offering: comprehensive exam, annual exam, 2 cleanings, pretty traditional. 20% savings here and 15% savings on root canals, crowns, veneers, implants, right? So and then this is like what he's charging, $249 a year, right? So I think it's extremely beneficial to look at other practice, what they're doing, what's successful. This practice, they focused primarily on external marketing. I remember I got the call from Brady's office, and they called in a panic, and they said, "Jordan, we don't know what to do. We just launched a ginormous direct mail campaign to thousands of potential patients in our area, and we don't know what we're doing, right? Is what they're called. We don't know how to manage this, how to do anything, and we were able to help them do that. But it goes to show you that external marketing is key to growing a dental membership program. Using it as a marketing strategy is essential. That's a key mindset, especially if you want to reduce dependence on PPOs. You want to make sure that you have a good marketing system. I'm sure RevenueWell agrees with me there. All the people from their company know the importance of marketing, and even from external to internal marketing, right? So let's talk about how can we generate over $100,000 a year in predictable recurring revenue from a membership program, right? Well, first we need to have a commitment strategy. You have to commit to doing this, right? To starting and figuring out a membership program, right? You got to have a marketing strategy, and you have to have a accountability strategy. These are some of the key things that Dr. Brady Frank did in his office. They, number one, were committed. Their entire team was on board. They had meetings about it. They talked about it. They planned. They put together a marketing strategy, and then they held their team accountable. Okay, our goal was to generate 30 new patients a month signing up to our membership program. Did we do that? Why didn't we do that? Or why did we do that? What was working? Can we increase that? Making sure you're holding people accountable to growing a dental membership program, right? And so you don't have to rely on PPOs. So commitment strategies. People ask me what does commitment looks like? So I made this simple little document. Interested versus committed. If you're interested about creating a membership program, you're just going to read about membership programs and kind of study it on the side here. If you're committed, you're going to take action, right? So after this webinar, you're going to go and say, what benefits can we offer our members? And you're going to sit down with your team, and you're going to, be strategic about it, plan, write them down, and how much are we going to charge for a membership program? That's what it looks like, right? If you're committed after a webinar or any piece of content that you read, right? Because we all know we're all interested, but how do we commit? How do we grow a membership program? Well, we take action, right? It's all about action, right? Another example, if you're interested, you're going to work the minimum amount of time on setting up a membership program. If you're committed, you're going to work as much as you can, when time permits, right? Interested, you procrastinate. So yeah, that's a great idea, but we'll push it off till next year, right? Committed, you focus on what's important. Hint, talking to patients each day and making sure that you have a patient base that's interested. That's the first key, low-hanging fruit, that is. So those are some examples right there of being committed to growing a membership program, right? If you're stuck, always ask what's holding you back, right? If it's maybe a team member, which we see this all the time, maybe a team member doesn't completely agree on the concept of offering a dental membership program to patients. Maybe they just love dental insurance, which I highly doubt it, but there are some people out there that do. But ask yourself what's holding you back. A good example of this is there's an office that I'm actually really close to here in Utah. Their entire team, majority of their team was on board, except they had one person that worked remote from their office and was kind of clueless on the benefits and the strategy that the practice wanted to take. And she kind of put her foot down and didn't want to implement this, didn't want to do it because she didn't understand, right? And I do have resources for your team to help get them educated and trained, which I'll share at the end of this webinar, right? So get your mindset right when you're trying to commit, right? You want to make sure that you're thinking about the growth, the membership growth mindset, right? You're thinking about attraction tool, retention tool, case acceptance tool, and predictable recurring revenue tool. Get your whole team on that mindset, and you'll see success with this, right? Refine goals. How many members do you want to sign up in the first month? Typically, I have practices when they start a membership program from scratch, never done it before. I usually recommend you to go out and reach out to your current existing uninsured patient base, right? And if you have Dentrix or another practice management software, you can easily pull these reports and see who doesn't have dental insurance. You can start contacting them, right? And say, let's start practicing, educating our patients about membership programs, but let's start with the patients that already have a relationship with us that are uninsured, right? So how many of those can you sign up after you get through that list? What type of marketing strategies are you going to do, and how are you going to have a goal for that? Is it going to be 10 patients a month, 30? Make sure you set goals, because I I don't know if anyone's read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, but he talks about writing down your goals and making it so everyone can see them, and you talk about it every day, right? That's really how you're going to be successful when growing a membership program. So focus on what's important too. A lot of practices get too caught up in the non-important tasks when creating a membership program. But really, there's essentially three: communicating with patients about your membership program. You can do that. You can use RevenueWell. They've got an awesome tool to use where you can communicate to your existing patients. And in fact, RevenueWell, I know I was talking to Alex Nudell a while back. He said that if you're a RevenueWell user, you can actually get into RevenueWell and pull a report of all your uninsured patients, and you can send them a message about your dental membership program right there in RevenueWell. So that's a wonderful tool. If you're using RevenueWell, use that to help grow your membership program. It's a fantastic tool. It makes it easy for you guys, right? Share the value to your patients. Create videos, share on Facebook. Create videos, posts on Facebook, and emails that you can share to educate your patients about it, right? In fact, me and my team are getting ready to go. We're setting an appointment at a mall in a few weeks here, and we're going to randomly ask patients if they know anything about membership programs, right? And if they are, insured or uninsured. And we're going to kind of poll these patients and see. I guarantee you, the majority of patients don't know what a membership program is. So it's up to you, the practice owner, the team at the team in the practice, to help educate patients about this, right? And then the third thing is getting patients signed up every day, right? If you can sign up a few patients a day, your front office team, starts practicing and getting better at educating and getting patients signing up. And sure enough, it becomes automatic, right? It becomes a habit. So let's talk a little bit about marketing. This is one of my favorite topics here. So we'll kind of rush through this because I know we're running a little bit short on time, but this has been awesome. So how to market a membership program. So always start with your existing patients, especially if you're starting, from scratch, with no membership program, and keep in mind that patients, even if they're existing, they're going to end up paying 2 to 3.5 times more when they're a member versus a non-member. So keep that in mind, right? Make sure on your website you've got a specific page that's prominent on your website that talks about your dental membership program. You can use direct mail marketing. Randomly blast, a radius, around your local area about your practice. You want to have it targeted. So I would recommend targeting, retiree, 55 and up type communities, and saying, hey, you don't have dental insurance, we can help. We can totally help you with this, and learn more about our dental membership program, and you can talk about it on the flyer there. So you can also use RevenueWell, like I mentioned, email and texting. Social media is a powerful tool. Make sure you create awesome videos of patients maybe that allow you to share like their testimonial about signing up for a membership program once you get a few people on there, because people they're social proof people, right? Everyone wants to know if their buddy programs, right? So you can use social media to your advantage. And then live presentations, going into the 55 and up communities and having like providing a dinner or caterer or whatever, and doing an event about oral health care, right? At the end, then you can talk about that patients don't need to have dental insurance to get access to treatment at your office, right? These are some simple ways to do it, right? Let me go back here. I haven't added these on yet, but I recommend practices writing articles or getting a freelance writer to help you write an article for like your news websites in your local city and state, right? Where you can say, hey, insurance dental insurance is not very beneficial to patients. Here's what it is, right? You can talk about a membership program. Here's what is beneficial to patients. You can try to get on local news stations as well and get interviewed by news stations and talk about your dental membership program to your community, right? These are things that are so essential. There's also radio stations, right? You can get on and talk to, and think of who listens to those, news and radio. More likely, more and more people that are retired that don't have dental benefits listen to those. So that's a great way for you to get out there and market and organically educate your potential patients to join a membership program. So if you haven't read this book, it's called the Psychology of Influence. I highly recommend this book because it does talk about what is called the contrast principle. And this is the principle that's built automatically in a dental membership program that helps increase case acceptance, right? So for example, this is an example here outside of dentistry. I go into Best Buy, I need a TV. It's $1,000. But then I go to Amazon because I'm Amazon Prime member. It's a little bit cheaper and I get free shipping. I don't have to worry about fitting it in my car because I have a small car. I don't have to worry about, finding a car where it fits, right? Which sounds better to you, right? So you can do the same thing. So you can, when a patient that is uninsured comes into your practice and says, hey, okay, I need a crown, right? I'm uninsured. You can say, well, okay, great. If we have a great program for you. If you'd like, you can get the crown today. It would be $1,000. But if you join our membership program, you're going to get all these benefits. Plus, you're going to get some savings, and the crown is only going to cost you $800 today. What do you think the patient's going to do? They're going to read the list of benefits they're getting, like this on this example, and look at, the $1,000 versus the $800, and they're going to sign up for the membership program and for the crown, right? That's where the power comes in using a membership program to help increase case acceptance, right? So quick tip here, 5 mistakes to avoid when creating a membership program. Review: not automating payments, not automating patient renewals, not marketing to your patients, not tracking goals and metrics, keeping credit cards on a piece of paper, Google Docs, and then the biggest one is not getting your team on board. I've seen practices that get really excited, but then they never tell their team about the concept of it, right? So that is my entire presentation today. So I want to offer you guys a free ebook that I've written that talks about how to create and grow a membership program, right? So you can get this book at boomcloudapps.com/book, or if you just go to our website, we have it'll pop up when you visit our website for the first time. We also have so many more resources on our website for practices. I currently, right now, I am building a free course that I'm offering to the industry, that's going to be launched out in a few weeks. We're calling it the Boom Cloud University, and it's basically going in detail on what's working, and from the basics to marketing to talking to patients, all the way down to legal and other topics when creating a membership program. And really, I want to be a resource to the industry and allow practices to use this book, the video course, to help get their team on board on this concept, because I am so passionate about helping patients out and helping practices reduce dependence on PPOs. This is kind of the gift that we're giving to the industry. So go check that book out. David, I think if we have time for questions, I'm super happy to answer any questions we may have.
Great, thanks so much, Jordan. We do have some time for Q&A, so let's just dive right in.
Yeah, let's do it.
The first question we have is, how do I figure out pricing for my membership program?
Yeah, so the best thing to do when you figure out pricing, you want to know all your expenses, right, that it costs to offer the selected benefits to your program, right? I even have a tool for this. It's called it's a free resource. We call it the profit margin calculator, where you can enter in all your procedures that you're going to be adding to your membership program, and you can see how much each procedure costs, and then you can figure out the pricing from there. And a good tip there, the most traditional pricing we see out there ranges from $250 a year all the way up to 450, and that depends on location. If you're below that or above that, I would be worried. So I would keep it in that range or those parameters.
Okay, and the next question is, are there any special considerations for pediatric practices?
Oh, so pediatric practices. We have a lot of. I've worked with lots of pediatric practices. In fact, my mom, she's an office manager for a pediatric practice, and she actually, if you do have like detailed questions there, she does have a membership program. She works with my company BoomCloud, and she would be more than happy to answer any detailed questions. But it's pretty standard for pediatric. I would encourage you to set up a membership program because, well, number one, the parents, love taking care of their kids. I know I'm a dad. I want to take care of my daughters, and I'm going to be spending more money on them taking care of their teeth, right, than I would myself. That's just how it goes, right? So membership programs are great because it does offer a lot of benefits for children. So if you do want to talk to me, I'm more than happy to show you some examples for pediatric plans as well.
The next question we received is, can we offer monthly and yearly plans?
Yeah, so that, like I said, that's encouraged when starting a membership program. You want to be able to offer both monthly and yearly because, well, monthly you're going to have a lower barrier of entry, and then there are a few states that don't allow you to do yearly, which is fine. Just make sure you have a solid monthly plan, right, with the agreement, and then I would recommend using ACH as a way to collect payments from that patient versus using a debit or credit card, because debit and credit cards have expiration dates and they can usually decline sometimes. So using an ACH, which is also like direct deposit from the bank account, that's what I'd recommend if you're going to do monthly.
The next question is somewhat related. It's, are credit card payments automated through your software?
Yeah. So everything is automated. We do the monthly automation, yearly automation, and then the automatic renewal each year, right? Typically, if you're going to do like a renewal for like in the contract that it'll automatically renew the plan for that patient, you just want to make sure you have that in the contract. But yes, everything is automated, and we do have ACH as well, so you can directly collect right from the bank account and kind of minimize management with declined and expired credit cards.
And next we have, what are some ways that I could keep my patients from canceling their membership?
The best way is, again, having an agreement in place with that patient, and then using ACH type features. Typically, if a patient wants to cancel, I would take it case by case. This is what I typically tell practices. If a patient moves out of state, I mean, I would, cancel it, and you can choose to do a refund or choose to do a partial refund depending on, the services that they were able to get from your office. But I would take that by case, and then making sure that you have the proper agreement really in place, and making sure when that patient is signing up, they understand the terms of the agreement. The beauty of having your own agreements versus using a third party like dental insurance, is the agreements are going to be a lot more simplified than if they were with an insurance company. So that's what I would recommend. Make sure you have just good agreements.
The next question is, practice is starting to see that their baby boomers are enrolling in a Medicare dental supplemental plan, but unfortunately they're losing some of these patients because they don't have out-of-network benefits.
Yeah, Medicare is definitely tricky, right? And I mean, we see practices dealing with that all the time, where baby boomers are enrolling into those. So what you can do is what I recommend is, I mean, it all boils down to educating your patients, right? Educate those patients about the benefits of signing up for a membership program, and most likely they'll decide to switch. Or, I mean, I know lots of practices that choose not to work with that type of insurance because I'll be honest, it's a hard insurance to work for, right? And there's no, I believe in making a profit, right? And sometimes it's hard to do that with some of the the programs out there. But you got to take care of your practice on the business side so that you can continue taking care of patients and offer really quality care for your patients. So that's kind of my thoughts there on that issue.
Do you have any recommendations on profit sharing if a practice has multiple associates in the office?
So if they have, oh, this is a good question. Yeah, in fact, I think I'm going to be doing an episode on my podcast about this. Um, don't know when, but I was speaking about this the other day. So yeah, if you do have, well, I've seen it a couple ways, right? So sometimes a practice will create a separate entity, and that entity is solely um, their membership program is under the entity, and whoever owns that, gets the revenues from the membership program. But if you do have profits that, partners, you could either split that or you can create a plan for Dr. A, a plan for Dr. B, and you can categorize that revenue that way. That's what I would recommend. If you're nice and want to share profits, that's what I do. If you're not as nice and want to take all profits, then you can create a separate entity. But I've seen both out there.
And the next question is, how would I get started with BoomCloud if I'm interested?
Cool. Yeah. So I would go to just our website, boomcloudapps.com, and you'll see up top there is a schedule a demo. I would start with that, schedule a demo, look at our software, and see if it, is a fit for your practice and with your membership program, right? That's really the best way to do it. You can also reach out to me. My contact is here. Contact Jordan at boomcloudapps.com, and I'm happy to direct you to the right person to speak to at my company.
And just a follow up to that, do you have any marketing tools to help with it?
So yeah, with our service, we do give practices we call it a print kit, where we design a bunch of print materials for the practice, and then they print them out right with their printer. We're also experimenting with doing that for them. Also, we have a complete digital marketing kit that they can use. In fact, you can actually use it in RevenueWell. If you guys are RevenueWell users, you can use our digital kit. We've got like some email templates that you can use to blast out to your patients. We got some social media posts. So if you are a RevenueWell user, that totally is a great thing. We also have videos that you can place on your website that help educate patients on your membership program. So yeah, I'm a big advocate of giving some market resources away when practices use our service.
And our last question has to do with the legal side of things.
Cool.
There's two parts to it. Should I have my patients sign an agreement, and how do lawyers figure into this? Does a practice need a lawyer to help finish the first membership program?
I mean, typically, if you want, if you want a lawyer, I always say, get an attorney. I do have attorneys that I can refer practices to if that's a concern to you, that they're fully educated and trained on what to look for in regards to direct primary care law. I do have a firm that's actually here in Utah that they work with. Specifically, they work with dental practices and DSOs from across the nation, and kind of partner with them on helping practices research this. But for the most part, what I've seen out there, you need a medical retainer agreement or a direct primary care agreement. It's the same type of agreement, just different name. And basically, we have a template that we give all of our users of our software of that agreement. You can use that as a starting point. You can update that, and then you can spend a little bit of money of having your attorney review that agreement. That's what I recommend doing. Instead of having your attorney reinvent the will, we have a template that they could use, and you can have them review it. That's typically what most practices do, and you're good to go with that. If you are in a weird state that's maybe has some weird regulations, which there's a few of there's not too many of those actually anymore, especially with DPC coming out. But yeah, I always recommend using an attorney if you want to review your contracts. But to be honest with you, most practices get the template, update it, and start using it. So that's what we see out there.
Okay, well, that will wrap up our webinar today. Thank you so much to Jordan Jordan Comstock of Boom Cloud for this fantastic webinar. Thanks to
Oh,
everyone on
thank
the
you
line
guys.
for joining us. A recording of today's webinar will be available by tomorrow. Practice Perfect will return in a couple of weeks when we'll dive into how to run an attractive practice. And if you're heading to Chicago
Ooh,
midwinter next week, make sure you stop by the RevenueWell booth for a chat. We'd love to see you. Until then, we hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next time, everyone.
rock and roll.